Hey everybody, it's Jenny McGarvey and I'm back with you again today to share how I planned the week of February 27th through March 5th in my memory planner. There's a look at last week and it's cheerful and hearty and lovey and all that good stuff. This week I am going to use my photos, my activities, and the Hip Kit Club Project Life Kit, and then also the embellishment kit as well. So as you can see, I did already stamp that yay stamp because I couldn't even stand it. It was so stinking cute. And I have printed my photos and trimmed them as well. And we're going to get them all in their spots on the pages like I like to do. What I love doing first is placing my photos where they'll pretty much go in the end. And then after that, I begin the planning process. Now, this week is going to be a little bit different based on the fact that I'm definitely using a majority of scrapbook items. And then I am going to be putting all of my activities and appointments with stamps. Yep, you read that right. Lots of stamping this week. So I'm going to get these photos for the first half of the week in their approximate locations again. And here are the stamp sets that I've identified from my stash that I'm going to pull out because they're super simple and super basic. The first two are from Big Picture Classes. These two are from Sweet Stamp Shop. This one is from Studio L2E, and so was the last one as well. So I don't actually end up using all of them, but they are a good basic set that does not detract from all of the awesome supplies. Now, as you can see, I've pulled out my planner inks, and that's what I'm going to work with. But in the end, I'm only using the black VersaFine. I'm going to start by stamping with this Studio L2E stamp set. Sorry, it's just hard to say all together. And my black VersaFine ink. It's really simple, and because it says like practice at the top, it's really cool because I actually only have to add just the tiniest bit of information to make my plans known. So for example, like I just write the time and my son's initials, and that's really cool because the stamp already includes the practice. Now I'm going to pull out this little box from Sweet Stamp Shop, and what I really like about this one is that it allows me to, it's a little bit special, but it's also really at its root super simple. So the focus is going to be on the text, which is identifying that this is the day that my son took a field trip. Cool, right? So I love that because it's really simple but yet has great style. Now I'm just using a couple of simple icons, really actually truthfully only stamps this week, and I wanted to keep the stamping really simple because I wanted the focus to be on the scrapbook supplies and the photos. But as you know, in my memory planning, I like to include the events and activities and plans. Now I messed up because I had not written canceled in my real planner, so I transferred that information to my memory planner, but it was incorrect. But the great thing is that I have these really cool little tickets from Dear Lizzie in the kit, and so I'm going to be able to cover that stamping up no problem. I added that really cute little special day banner because this was a special day. My son was selected as Student of the Month, and in high school that's actually a really big deal because, you know, out of thousands of students, only 4 are selected each month. So I was very, very excited to have him be selected, and I was very happy that I was able to include that here in my memory planner as well. So that special day flag really does the trick. Now again, able to use that super simple stamp that just says meeting across the top, so I can just add the couple of details right there inside the box, and that doesn't detract from anything. It's not particularly exciting, but it gets the job done, and sometimes that's exactly just what I need. Now I'm inking up the edges of this outside box. It's nice and big. There's lots of room for writing. And again, just like all the rest of the stamps, it's very, very simple. It's not going to detract from the photos and the embellishments that I'm using this week. One of the other tactics I'm using is sticking to black ink. Now, of course, it's my favorite anyway, but it's not going to contrast or possibly clash with any of the embellishments that I choose. I know that it's going to look good no matter what choices I make with the paper crafting items. Therefore, I can stamp away with ease and not worry about, okay, I picked pink and yellow and blue, I need to stick to that color scheme. Nope, I can do whatever I want, and it allows me a lot of freedom. And of course, as you know, I love versifying. It's giving me the best impression. It's super bold, yet doesn't bleed through to the backside, and it's really fantastic. Now that I'm mostly finished with the planning, I'm going to go ahead and adhere all my photos to the page. I use the Scotch ATG gun. It gives really good adhesion to the page, yet is inexpensive and easy to use. Now I'm measuring out that box just to make sure that I've got it right. I'm going to trim down the Project Life card from Hip Kit Club and adhere that right there to that block. Now that's why I have not added that ticket yet permanently, because I wanted it to sit on top of that little piece of patterned paper that really starts out as a 3x4 card, but it does the same thing, so it's worth noting. Now I'm using a Pilot permanent pen that I got on Amazon to write on the sticker, because it does have a glossy sort of finish on it, and another pen with smear. This is very much like a Sharpie Ultrafine, however, so you have some of those in your stash. You don't need to run out and buy the Pilot permanent pens. I just kind of like the tip, and I had purchased it to try it out, so I use it. Now I'm mostly finished with the first half of the page. Obviously, I still need to work on the embellishing, but if you watched any of my memory planner videos before, you know I like to get the plan, the photos down, and then go back and really hit the embellishing when I know what empty spaces I have and where I have room for designing those types of things. Unfortunately and fortunately, I have a whole lot of photos to include on the second half of the page. So I'm going to need to get creative to figure out how I can make all of those work together. Now I trimmed down that 3x4, and originally I had thought that I would leave it as 3x4, but there's too many things to include, so I'm not going to be able to do that. So I trimmed it down, and it worked out okay because the highlight is still definitely on my son, and it makes all of the, like, he's a little bit bigger in the photo since I printed it as a 3x4. Now I decided that what I'm going to do with these other photos that I wanted to include is trim them down to little squares so that I can sort of stagger them throughout the Friday and Saturday and have them look really good and have the page not appear to be overcrowded, though it is a little bit more crowded when I'm completely finished than I prefer. However, it still definitely adds a little bit more and they look good. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to scrap one of those photos and not use it here in the memory planner. I would like to, but it's probably not going to fit. So that's just sometimes the choices that you have to make. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove all the photos and lay it flat so that I can stamp and write with ease, and then just place the photos back where I'm going to have them go, just to make sure that I leave plenty of room for them when I add my planning. Now I'm stamping with this Sweet Stamp Shop block, and I thought that I did not press hard enough in the corner. Unfortunately, that wasn't true. I just didn't ink that corner up. Now I decided to not re-ink it and stamp it again, and that was just a choice that I made based on the fact that I didn't want to mess it up any further. The way that I had messed it up really wasn't that big of a deal, and so it was okay with me if I just left it as it was. Now, as I was writing that, I was thinking that I would cover it with a sticker or an embellishment. I didn't end up doing that, but mostly just because I didn't really care that much that it was messed up. But if it bothers you, that's absolutely something you could just cover with a small little sticker or the corner of a photo, something like that, and it would be just fine. Now, as you can see, I've got all of my photos adhered, and so now I can go ahead and start writing all of my activities as well. And as you can see, I'm back at it again with those little star icons. I really actually only reached for just a handful of stamps this month, or this week, excuse me, which is kind of funny considering that all of the planning was done with stamps. But I really like that. I think it's really fun and shows how you don't have to have a wide variety of items in your stash to still make a really cute and fun week. Now these are some smaller star icon stamps because I had a lot more I needed to include on Saturday, so I figured that the smaller icons would allow me to fit more on the Saturday space, even though I was featuring 3 photos. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring both sides of the page back together again so I can look at the overall design as a whole now that I have those basic items filled in. So as you can see, I can look at where I still have white space, where I can still add decoration, and what I need to look for. Now I'm looking through the project life cards and I decide that I'm just going to use one more of those to fill in, and then I'm also going to work with these puffy stickers from Pink Fresh Studio that was included in the kit. And I'm going to end up adding quite a bit of decoration, but mostly just because it's so cute and it's really fun, and it's just a great way for me to be able to scrapbook on a smaller scale. Those are those super cute leatherette stickers from Pink Fresh. These are the little word strips, which I love a lot. And I'm just making sure that none of these cards have themes that I could fussy cut from the cards themselves to add to the page as well. Now I'm looking through these Dear Lizzie die cuts to see if there's any of those that I'd like to include on the page, and then also thinking about those exclusive Hip Kit Club. Sorry, I have to enunciate it so much, it's a little bit of a tongue twister. If there's anything that I'd like to include. Now these Pink Paisley die cuts really have a few that I think are going to be very fun on the page. They're very floral and they're just very playful. So they're definitely pink and they have some feminine flair, but they are just really fun, and I think that they accentuate the beginning of spring super well. So I've adhered this one floral little bouquet, and I'm going to use some of the word strips to pair all together to make a really fun cluster. I'm actually really excited about the way that this turned out. So I paired a couple of little word strips on top of the die cuts and then pulled out 3 of the small tiny little enamel dots and paired them all together, and that little edge of the page is so fun. Now I also wanted to include this puffy sticker that says happy because that is a photo of my son and his friends on the school bus, and they just had such a great day together and really enjoyed this field trip, and I wanted to make sure that that was very, very evident. So now I trimmed down the other 3x4 card and I put that right up there in the top right hand corner, and I was going to go with it for the middle because it kind of maybe felt right on this page, but I knew that there would be some other things and I wanted to balance it with the left hand side as well. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of not generic but sort of broad journaling, not about any one thing specifically and not getting into too much detail. And so I'm going to add my journaling lines using my black Flair pen, and then I will write on top of that. I do this almost every single week. I love the contrast that the lines provide, and they give sort of a graphic flair, but then they also serve a completely functional purpose in keeping my handwriting straight and not going up or down or veering all over the place. So I also like to stagger the lines because then I don't have to line them up completely, and it also gives it a little bit more of a fun and playful look to the page. Now I did make a little mistake. I wrote the wrong son's initials on there, and so I'm going to have to pull out my whiteout. I don't have to use this too terribly often, but it comes in handy when I do. I just add the little whiteout and I'm able to write right on top of that with my Papermate Flair. I don't know if you could do that with a ballpoint pen or a gel pen or anything like that, but with the Flair it works just great. So now as you can see, the left hand side of the page is really coming together and is close to being finished, and I just need to finish up the right hand side of the page. Now I'm going to use that super cute sort of daisy looking floral, and then I want to find something that will spread across a couple of boxes down at the bottom and tie them together as well. So now I'm going to use the adhesive on those 2 die cuts and sort of layer them together just a little bit, and then also have them tied together with the photo as well. I think that turned out super cute. Now there's also some different puffy stickers that I was considering using here, but ended up going with the XOXO and then these little leaves to sort of frame the photo. So I really like the way that that turned out. It's a little bit different, and it definitely doesn't scream baseball, but I'm A-okay with that. Now on these die cuts over here for Sunday, I was going to use this for a little bit of noting the activity, but then I realized that it might be really pretty to have a little floral element behind that word happy up at the top, or even a heart. It just needed to be the right size. It of course happened to be that that flower I had chosen for the clipboard was perfect. So you know what? I'm just going to throw it up there and find something else for the clipboard. Now these leatherette stickers have these really fun sort of modern and edgy flowers, so I decided to go with that one, and it worked out size-wise just perfectly so that I'm adhering all of that right there to the Sunday, and it works out great because it's a really cute decorative element, but it also definitely fits the bill in terms of I'm able to write my activity there also. So now that I've got the design mostly finished, I can go ahead and write in all of those elements. I just wanted to make sure that it was all going to work together before I did that, and that I didn't need to try to find something else as well. So now the layout is mostly complete. I just want to find like a couple more small little things to make it feel a little bit more finished, and then I'm completely done. So one more of those little decorative leatherette stickers, and then another ticket just to write the tiniest bit of journaling, and I'm finished. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please leave me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comment box below, and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.